Welcome to the Serbian internet. We're going to have interesting discussions about crime, possibly some movies, and possibly some other odd subjects that might strike us as odd or very strange.
If I said to you that we're going to be talking about the most famous movie about murder ever made, what would be like your top 5 guesses?
Well, there's plenty of movies about murder.
But like, what would you think? If we're going to talk about it, what would...
Factual murder or just regular murder movies? Because there's
Both.
a bunch of slasher movies.
Both.
Oh, there's Friday the 13th movies.
Yes, Friday the 13th.
1 through 5.
All right, so okay, real life murders that were turned into movies.
JFK. Other ones? I'm trying to think.
How about, I'm sure there was, Psycho was loosely based on Ed Gein's, so was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so you kind of say that, in a way, was based upon a real-life murder.
Well, the Jeffrey Dahmer movies.
The Amityville Horror, from what I understand, was based upon a...
the murders that happened there, but the movie is really about haunting or possession in the house.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought that some guy slashed up his family, and then they made the ghost connection in the movie. So my bad. But we're not going to be talking about any of those movies. We're talking about the best movie about murder ever made, and it stars Meredith Baxter Birney, and it's called
A Woman Scorned, the Betty Broderick Story.
Betty Broderick.
Yes,
who
Matthew Broderick's mother.
Is famous. Yes. Is famous for being the mother of another famous murderer, Matthew Broderick,
yes,
who murdered a bunch of people in his car. It's allegedly.
I don't know if it's a bunch of people.
This was reported in the tabloids years ago that Matthew Broderick apparently went on a spree where he just started mowing people down in his deathmobile. And he was screaming out that he's Ferris Bueller. I'm Ferris Bueller, I can do whatever I want. And he just started running people over. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was in the tabloids.
Life moves pretty fast.
A Woman Scorned was a made-for-TV movie in 1991. I think it was possibly aired 2 nights. There was definitely 2 episodes. There was that one, and then the sequel, which we didn't watch, which was, well, you watched it.
I watched it.
The Final Fury.
Yeah, The Final Fury. I watched it a long time ago.
Right.
I think it was just made from the popularity of the original one. There's people like that so much. They were like, well, let's give them some more of this Meredith Baxter Birney.
Meredith Baxter Birney spent much of the 80s as the loving housewife or mother in Family Ties with Marty McFly and Skippy. Yeah, and then there's some other people on the show, but it was mainly about Marty McFly before he met Doc Brown, and then his wacky neighbor Skippy, who was an obsessive stalker. He used to stalk, what was her name?
Mallory.
Mallory, yeah, he used to stalk Mallory and make her feel real uneasy until Mallory started dating that guy, Nick, who was like Rocky Balboa's like illegitimate love child. And then he was like, yo, Mallory, who's the Skippy guy? Is he bothering you? Mallory, I'll take care of you, you know what I mean? And like, and then Skippy became afraid of Nick, and then his obsession with Mallory only intensified because she became even harder to get. So then there would be episodes where Skippy would be in the shadows lurking with a knife, following Mallory home. And
I don't think he had a knife.
So, A Woman Scorned was Meredith Baxter Birney's first non-comedic role, or not? Yeah, I guess non-comedic role, right?
Is that right?
Since Family Ties. So it's like Family Ties, and then she had to go out and like say, I'm an actress, and so she made this horrible, I mean, it's an awesome movie. It was so good that they skipped theatrical release. Can you believe that? They said, listen, this movie is so good, we think it's a crime to make people have to wait for it to come out in the movie theaters and then pay their hard-earned money for tickets, right? When we could just release it to them for free on like the movie of the week. On the weekend, they had to have the movie of the weeks, and they're always great movies. Like what were some of those memorable movies of the weeks? A Little House on the Prairie reunion, Bonanza the reunion,
Roots.
MASH the reunion,
Roots.
the reunion.
The reunion. Roots the reunion. Roots Part 2.
Yeah, well, stop.
Roots might be one of the examples of like one of the only ones that are actually pretty good, and but all the other ones were just trash, including this. Oh no, this was the exception. This was a great movie. I keep forgetting, but this was a great movie.
Well, and I can barely hold back the laughter and when I'm watching this last night. Like, I was watching, I swear, for like the first 10 minutes get into it, I'm like, it's kind of weird. But then it started picking up its pace. And,
It did.
I just couldn't, I was holding back the laughter for a good 40 minutes. And some of the things were quite hilarious.
So this is based on a true story, dramatized for your entertainment, all right, in the movie of the week, A Woman Scorned. Now, what is the setup of the real-life situation that we see in the movie about what's happening with this Betty Broderick?
Betty Broderick's married to this lawyer, Dan Broderick.
Sounds like a real scumbag already.
I know, it sounds terrible. Right? But seems to be getting quite successful.
And that's all because of because of Betty Broderick. That's what Betty Broderick would have you believe is that
all of his success is due to her.
Correct.
Sacrificing her life.
Yes.
To raise the children.
Yes.
And do whatever Dan wants according to her.
Yes.
Whatever Dan wants, Dan gets and Dan does.
Correct.
So this is her perspective. She comes home a lot and she talks to her maid or her house person, as she does, and she's like, "Hey, why don't you do all the stuff for me? I'm going to the office to see Dan on his birthday." But
Yes.
she does show up at the birthday. But there's a precursor to this because Dan needs some new help at the law office, so he hires a younger lady.
And when you say younger lady, Betty Broderick was in her 40s, right?
Yeah,
And the younger lady who's working as a legal assistant in his office was allegedly, according to Meredith Baxter Birney, was 19 years old. That's what was alleged in the movie. In the movie, because I didn't research the real case all that much to find out if it was Linda, the lady that he eventually marries, was she 19 when she was an intern or whatever? I have no idea. But in the movie, Meredith Baxter Birney alleges she's 19 years old. I don't know if that's true. I'm thinking that in real life, she's probably like out of law school, first job. She might have been like in her mid-20s. That's my guess. But Meredith Baxter Birney says she's 19. That's what we're going with.
This is the girl that Betty Broderick refers to as oversexed, syphilitic, poor white trash. That is a quote.
Syphilitic? Syphilitic?
Syphilitic.
Syphilitic. That
Syphilitic,
means
yes. Syphilis.
afflicted with the syphilis.
Yes.
Afflicted with the syphilis.
Yeah, but that's her point of view. That's what she thinks of Linda.
You know what else she called her? I wrote it down. You
did
know
you
what
write it
else
down?
she called her?
No.
It was horrifying. When I heard it,
I thought that was hilarious.
My ears started.
Oversexed, syphilitic, poor white trash.
My ears started bleeding when I heard the final fury of insults that she hurled at her. She referred to Linda and other secretaries, young attractive secretaries, that their husbands hire at their offices as,
wait for it,
airheads.
Airheads. Airhead.
So I thought that was odd. As you're speaking of like what she referred to. In the beginning of the movie, she runs in. She's out shopping with one of her friends, right? And they run into this
third friend
who had just gone through a divorce and is about to like go crazy and murder her husband or whatever.
Her statement. That's what she says in the movie.
And so she's out there shopping to alleviate the stress of the divorce. And so after she's like, all right, so I'm going to go murder my husband now. Bye. And she walks away. Meredith Baxter Birney like turns to her friend and is like, why do our husbands keep hiring all these airheads? And then her friend's like, yeah, I know. It's like as if these airheads are more attractive to them than we are to our own husbands.
Exactly.
I don't know what they see in these airheads. It's like, what?
I do.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. So yes, the airheads. So So Meredith Baxter Birney is now jealous of
The
Linda.
new hire, yes.
Okay,
The new
so-
hire at the law firm.
And what happens next?
What happens next is Dan's secretary, which is weird. Some you probably didn't notice, but I noticed this. Dan's secretary was, she comes out and she's like, oh, Linda's been here 6 months and she already makes more money than me. She has
Yes.
her own office and all this. And she like explains to her, like, Linda's not secretary. You understand? She's like legal assistant.
She does more.
Hold on a second. First of all, Linda's doing entirely different things from what you do.
I know. She can't type.
That's
Yeah,
what he
yeah.
said. He says something like, she does more than
Which
what
goes
you
back
do.
to the thing. of,
Right?
I believe this
Yeah.
was a Lifetime movie. The Lifetime movie's pushing the thing like, oh, men are evil, men are evil.
Do
But
they know
don't-
what the Lifetime movies are? When you say this is like a Lifetime movie, do you think they know what you mean?
I say it's a bunch of movies that are over traumatized and they try to put men in a bad light at almost every turn.
Never gonna hurt you.
But the secretary,
Yes.
she well, good luck to you guys. And she's like, well, are you quitting? But that secretary,
That secretary, just out of curiosity, real quick. So I'm watching that, and I was like, is this, because this is 1991, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this lady, and I'm like, is this the lady who played the mom on the 70s show?
yes, it is.
That was, right?
That is it.
They
Yeah,
had-
I wrote that down. I was
Okay,
like-
yeah.
I'm like, that's Midge.
It's-
That is
oh my
Midge
God.
from the 70s show.
Dumbass.
But this goes around and round and goes around and round, and it's his birthday or whatever.
Yes, yes, it is. And nobody likes surprise visits, especially if you're a husband who is currently having an erotic episode with your young secretary, and you know that your wife is already kind of suspicious. Nobody likes surprise visits from their wife.
Well, it's
Don't
just,
come to the office. I'm trying to do something with my.
so Betty Broderick shows up there at the office, and she's like, "Oh, where's Dan?"
And the
Dan is
secretary
not there.
said
He's out.
he's out
He left with Linda to go
to
to
have
lunch.
sex.
Yeah, that's not what the
That's
secretary
what
said.
she said, right? Oh, you're saying that Betty Broderick inferred all this in the movie. Betty Broderick inferred that the husband was
she
out
walked into
having
the office.
sex.
She walked in the office, and there was a whole birthday setup with
Yeah, there was a birthday
balloons
setup.
and everything.
But we've all been in a work situation where somebody had a birthday party, and everybody that works in the office throws a party, makes the birthday banners and streamers, gets the cake and the ice cream and stuff, and they're like, hey, gang, let's all go out to the pizza parlor or go bowling, right? So I'm just saying, I just want to point it out to you because you're talking about that scene. And in the movie, she in her mind, she's like, oh, my husband's out banging the secretary because this other lady is saying that she's out with my husband. Well, yeah, maybe she's out with your husband, but maybe it was her and a couple other legal members of the legal team went out. You know, it just happened to be that her and the husband left the office to go meet the other members of the party, and then they all linked up. I'm just saying, I just want to drive home the point that Betty Broderick, the way she's portrayed in this movie, she's making a lot of assumptions about what's going on.
You have very immediate assumptions.
Immediate assumptions.
These are not
Yeah.
like these aren't instances that are continually happening, and then she's like, well, something must be going on.
Yes.
This is something happened. Oh, that means that's what's happening.
Correct.
That means someone's fucking Dan.
Yes. Exactly.
That's what it means.
Exactly.
Any instance of anything weird going on means someone's fucking Dan. And then Dan comes home.
Ah, yes. This is a good scene.
He comes home at approximately 7:30 p.m.
And he was.
So he's been going. He was going since
was-
1, I believe.
He was
One
on
and
cloud
1:30.
9.
He was very happy.
Yeah, he was very happy, and he had his new sports car. He had his new Corvette or something, right? Or a Stingray. It's like a red. It's like a little red
Yeah,
sports
yeah.
car. It might have been a
He-
Stingray. I don't know.
He got a Corvette.
Corvette,
Yeah. It was
yeah.
like a '90s Corvette. It was a newer red Corvette. So
Yes.
perfect for the time of the movie.
The lady that he was having relations with, allegedly, at his office, tracked that car down for him in another state, and because he's been searching for this car forever. So he's very, very happy that she was able to track down the exact Corvette that he was looking for. Anyway, so he gets home, and his wife said, "I made meatloaf."
Oh, because I made a special birthday dinner, roast beef, just like you requested.
And he was
this is the first
I'm going to
instance.
throw it in the trash. I already ate. I was out for 7 hours. I had some roast beef.
Yeah. Real pink roast beef.
Okay. So I don't need any more of that.
So, yeah, but this is the first instance
Yes.
where Betty Broderick does something a bit out of control.
Yes, correct.
Where she's in the street, she's yelling at him in the street, well, in front of the house. Causing a big scene. He's like, why don't we just go inside?
It was
She's like, what, am I too loud or whatever? She said something like that.
comparable. It was comparable, but not as good as the scene in Casino where Sharon Stone is going crazy and De Niro's like, oh, hey, what are you doing? You're making a scene. You're making a scene. All the neighbors can hear. It was comparable to that, you know. But this one
more toned down a little bit.
Toned down a little bit, but it has a good payoff. That's a good payoff. And can I just set you up? Can I just set you up for this, for the payoff?
Oh, sure, whatever.
So Meredith Baxter
like it.
Birney, she walks over to the porch, and she turns to her husband, and he's sitting there looking at her like, what's she up to? And she lights a single match and holds it in her hand, and she whispers to him, "Liar, liar, pants on fire."
Yeah.
Drops the match on a pile of...
all of Dan's clothes.
No,
his
it
suits.
wasn't his clothes. It was his...
I thought it was his clothes.
And that was his pants, which are clothes, so you were correct. But it was
I
his
like
pants.
a whole bunch.
She burnt his pants. She said, "Liar, liar, pants on fire," and she burnt his pants.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
What do you...
Yeah, but the payoff is like the daughter is in the doorway watching while this is happening.
Oh, that was pretty funny. That was good. I did.
Yeah,
like
she
that.
did forget that?
Yes.
There's a lot of the daughter, like, I don't like any of this stuff that's going on at
But
all.
she was already upset, though, because her brother was playing hooky from school, and she couldn't prove that he was doing it. She's like, I know he's playing hooky from school. Why don't you go home and check on him? And parents are like, yeah, you're just jealous of your brother and stuff. And, you know, whatever. So, yeah, well, bleh.
Wait, you're letting him stay home? I can't believe this. If I was bleeding out my eyes, you guys would make me go to school. This is so unfair.
Jeannie, please don't be upset with me. You have your health. Be thankful.
What did the brother say? He's the husband. What's his name? Dan?
Dan.
Dan's brother. They're playing golf on the golf course.
And
And
that was supposed to be his brother? I thought that was just like another lawyer. Or whatever.
well, I thought it was his brother. I might be wrong, but
It's very outside of the storyline of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's referred to by her that he's handing money off to his brother or whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't really get into the specifics of that stuff
No.
at all, really. It's just something she's complaining about. I guess because she's greedy as well as horrifying.
and the brother is...
I don't remember who it is.
Well, the brother is, if you ever watch Seinfeld, there's a few people in this movie that I think are from Seinfeld, and this is one of them.
Yeah, he is one of them.
There's an episode of Seinfeld where they get the doctor's notes so they can go to physical therapy and get massages, right? So they got the doctor's note from, I don't even know, it might have been a dentist, right? A lot of dentist crap in Seinfeld. But before they brought in Walter White to be the dentist in Seinfeld, they had another dentist. And this guy right here is the brother of Dan on the show. And they're playing golf, and he tells him that Betty Broderick's been wanting to get a divorce since the honeymoon. So this lady, according to the movie, yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but according to the movie, they're saying that in real life, Betty Broderick has pretty much been unhappy with her marriage this entire time, since day one. So why the hell did they have, what, like 3 kids, 4 kids? It's like 3 or 4
I think
kids
it's
ago.
3.
You look beautiful, Mom.
Thank you, darling.
You too, Dad. Okay.
I
It's
think
at least
it's
3. It might be 4.
Again,
I lost track.
Kids are not part of the focal point of the movie,
Yeah.
except for the daughter. The daughter
Yeah.
is like always like the witness to all the bad stuff.
The older
She's the
daughter.
oldest one.
The oldest daughter.
That's probably why
Yeah.
she sees most of it.
So they had a lot of kids, and they spent a lot of time building a relationship that apparently wasn't working since day one, according to the movies, which was kind of odd. So anyway, so they're playing golf. The brother mentions that, and Dan just kind of blows it off like, you know, this is the kind of thing. You have these little fights. She made a scene. I made a scene, you know, she made a mistake, I made a mistake, and then he just kind of blew it
but
off.
right from that goes to the restaurant, and I'm moving out of the house for a while.
Oh yeah, he did that so she wouldn't make another scene, right? That was
He dragged it.
yeah, that's
He did it in the '90s breakup
Yes,
thing,
yes.
where you go to the restaurant
yes.
and you break up with the girl at the restaurant, so there's not a big thing at your house or whatever, so you can just leave then and you get out clean, I guess.
Which
I don't
was also in Seinfeld.
know. Oh yeah, that's.
Oh my God! 'Cause, George took the girl. Or no, the girl
it's
took
not-
George.
it's not you, it's me.
it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's all Seinfeld.
He does start to cause a scene anyway in the restaurant.
You call it normal busting up a 16-year marriage over lunch? I gave you your life. You would still be cleaning up vomit on the emergency room floor if it weren't for me. If I hadn't raised our children, held down 5 jobs, and provided a home for you. You think you could have done this by yourself?
You're clearly not happy. Why would you want me to stay?
Because you owe me.
She starts to yell.
She does. She does start to yell, and by this point in the movie, we're just like, okay, this is not a movie. I mean, it is a movie, but it's not a fictitious story. So we know that they're trying to stick to the timeline of the real events. So you're sitting there wondering, like, man, I'm like halfway in, and nothing really too crazy has happened yet. Is this movie going to get any good? But if you're basing it upon a real life events, there's a lot of mundane shit that happens.
There are some criminal activities that are happening though. She is guilty of some.
Oh, she was.
Betty Broderick.
You know what?
Portrayed in the
I
movie.
started dozing off when I was watching this thing. So I mean, there's some
Portrayed in the
stuff I
movie, for
didn't.
sure. Well, burning up someone else's clothes, isn't that like some form of arson or something?
Okay, well that correct. I thought you meant like she was involved in some criminal activities, but then all this stuff was happening. Okay, yes, correct. The
Then-
stuff she was doing was definitely illegal.
Then she breaks into the old house and destroys all kinds of stuff that Dan had stored in there for his side bitch.
Yes.
For a side bitch.
Yes.
And she destroyed all that shit. And she had moved into the other place. And then Betty Broderick breaks into the new place and vandalizes and breaks all the pictures and everything. Oh, one of the things made me think and laugh pretty goddamn hard was there was I think it was a picture of her and one of the kids and Dan, and Dan's face is in the middle.
Yeah.
And the thing about this is that Dan's face is all scratched out.
Okay.
But it's not like the glass was smashed out of it and then he's all scratched out.
Yeah.
It's as if she took the time to take the back off,
Oh
take the photograph out, scratch the face out,
Really?
replace the photograph, and put the
I
back
didn't even
in.
notice that.
Yes, I was like, I rewound it. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Wait a second. Wait a second. That
Oh
should be
my
broken
God.
or something.
I want to
Arson.
say that happened before
Vandalism.
Christmas. That was before Christmas, correct? Or was that after Christmas?
Now, the Christmas is pretty early in the movie.
So the Christmas, what's great about the Christmas thing is that Dan goes out and so he had just gotten his Corvette, and she's pissed off about the Corvette thing because, the 19-year-old secretary allegedly helped him get the Corvette. So Christmas time comes, he's feeling a little guilty. He buys her this expensive ring and says something to the effect like, it's a little bit different than the one that you wanted, but I think it's better, right? And then she's like,
But it's not what I asked for, so that makes it a piece of crap.
right? Which is hilarious.
It's crap.
You know? So then the best part about that scene.
That makes it crap. That's what he said.
Yeah. So then the best part of that scene is that then the father, so the kids are sitting there. You got a couple like young kids, or like maybe like 5, 10 years old, and then the teenage daughter. The father just in front of the kids says,
It's Christmas. Your mom wants to behave like a spoiled brat. Let's let her.
your mom wants to behave like a spoiled brat, so let's let her.
Yeah,
And
pretty
I'm
much.
like, oh man, this is a lot of passive-aggressive shit going on in this family, man.
I thought it was a good move. I did.
A good move?
Yeah, I thought it was a good move by him.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, whatever.
How
That's
about,
how she is.
how about, they finally get separated.
Yeah. There's all kind of legal injunctions going back.
Yeah.
Well, going back and forth, but mostly coming from Dan because Dan is a lawyer.
Yes.
So
yes.
he's sending
we
some-
forgot to say, we forgot to say that. He's supposed to be a very successful attorney.
Yeah.
That everybody knows. All the judges know him, all the lawyers know him, and they're
He's very well.
supposedly
He's very well
afraid of
known
him.
at the country club as
All right.
well.
Yes.
Because,
because he
because
likes
she makes a phone call.
he likes to
Betty Broderick makes a phone call to
Yeah.
that lady. She wants to go to the event, and she's like, I don't think.
Betty, we've been socializing with Dan and Linda, and it just wouldn't be appropriate for us to see you right now. I'm sorry. I hope you understand.
I'm sorry, we can't be friends anymore. I already got one friend.
I think it was another one, but they must know like the crazy shit she's been doing. Like
Yes.
there's been police around, and other people connected to other people, and the
Yeah.
lawyers know other lawyers, and it's just
Word
in the country club. Word gets around a little bit.
Word
Yeah,
gets
she's really getting
around,
crazy.
but I think that we've actually forgotten a very important thing that happened at the very beginning of the movie, after the soccer game, which is not important.
That's the
Go to
opening.
the soccer game in the beginning, but right after the soccer game, there's a very, very important scene that establishes something about Dan that is crucial to the plot of this movie, and it might be crucial to the story of Dan in real life, but I'm not sure about that. But in the movie, they make it seem like it's extremely important to Dan's character. And do you know what that is that I'm talking about?
No, not exactly.
Dan is apparently Count Dracula. Okay.
Why is that? What did he say that?
Well, there's a scene in the movie where they're getting ready to go to a fancy schmancy ball.
Uh-huh.
And he forgot to take off his Count Dracula cape and top hat. And they were in a hurry and they had to get there because everybody's waiting for them so they could dance at the ball. And he just had to wear what he had on when he got out of the coffin, and it just happened to be his Count Dracula cape and top hat.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's probably just a one-off thing. That doesn't make any sense. You're just assuming he's Count Dracula. But then what happens later on in the movie, near the end,
I'm really using my imagination.
near the end
now.
of the movie, he's now married to Linda, his allegedly 19-year-old secretary. And they're going to go out dancing at the very same ball like a year or two later, right? From the beginning of the movie. And again, they're running a little bit late. And she's like, come on, are you ready? And then he comes popping into the scene at the staircase, and he's got his Count Dracula cape on with his top hat.
Once again.
Once again. Yes.
Well, there is a repetitiveness in this movie.
And they went to the soccer game, too, right before that.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, they have the
twice.
two things. Yes, they get back to the soccer game towards the end of the movie. And that same ball or whatever, where like he's eyeballing Linda while he's still with her.
You eyeballing me, boy? I used to say that in the Army all the time. They'd come on, you eyeballing me, boy? No, Sergeant!
He's eyeballing Linda while he's there at the Betty Broderick thing.
Yeah.
With the Betty Broderick. Still married to Betty Broderick. And the other thing that's repeated, which is that comes again in the other Linda later scene, because it's caused a scene there when he shows up with Linda. Then when he's remarried, the same thing.
Yeah.
Caused a scene there again. But Linda and Betty Broderick are played very similar, like except for the way they look and how they're
They
dressed.
start looking the same.
Yes,
They
it
start
becomes-
looking the
it's
same.
really-
They get the same haircuts.
Yeah,
by the end
they
of the
look
movie.
similar at the beginning.
Yeah.
And they start to look closer and closer alike
Yes.
throughout the whole
I
movie.
think Linda went from having like a reddish hair to like a blondish hair, which is what Meredith Baxter Birney had,
Mhm.
right?
But I thought that was really weird that they just kept going with them. I'm like, why do they look the same all the time?
Well, so we're talking about a movie based upon real
Because
events.
Dan's only attracted to fucking psycho bitches. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. Speaking of things that are weird, and of course vampires. Vampires, where do
I guess,
vampires like to lurk?
In the darkness?
In the darkness. Darkness like, say, maybe a shadow, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, well, guess who else is a vampire in the Betty Broderick movie?
Who?
Betty Broderick. Which is probably explains why in the movie, Betty Broderick, who's a vampire, fell in love with Dan, who's a vampire, or maybe Dan's the one that turned her into a vampire. And you're like, well, what are you talking about? Betty Broderick's a vampire in the movie. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe in real life it doesn't make sense. But the real Betty Broderick story in real life, that probably makes absolutely no sense because vampires don't freaking exist. That's just stupid. Okay? But in the movie, in the movie world, vampires exist. So we know that Dan is a vampire because he was sleeping in the coffin, even though they didn't film that scene or show us that scene. They mentioned that he was filming and he was sleeping in the coffin. However, we can make the assumption based on the fact that Dracula was sleeping like that, right? But then we have later on in the movie, they're separated now. The kids are in the kitchen at Father's house because Betty Broderick, just to let you know, she started dropping her children off at Dan's house when he was at work and leaving them like poor little latchkey kids without their latchkeys sitting in the driveway waiting for their father to come home. And then he would come home from work or after he got done banging his secretary and it'd be late at night. And he's like, hey, what are you kids doing here? Where's mom? He's like, she dropped us off like 10 hours ago. We're so thirsty, Dad. Ah. And then he's like, all right, come on in. You're going to live with us now, right?
Yeah, that leads to the court injunction.
Well, hold on. So now he's got
which
all
leads
these...
to one of the best parts of the movie.
Well, hold on, vampires. Got to cover the vampires. Okay? So now the kids, I got to establish the fact that he is now taking care of his children. And then there's a scene where Betty Broderick is lurking in the shadows. First, the scene starts out where the kids are in a kitchen. That's how the scene opens up, the kitchen. The kids are like making snacks and yelling at each other or whatever. And the oldest daughter is like talking to the kids like, hey, you little whippersnappers, you better behave. Don't be like Ferris. That guy's a real jerk, you know? Don't look easy, he's an idiot. She hates Ferris Bueller. But anyway.
He's a real jerk.
So she walks around the corner, and then there's Meredith Baxter Birney lurking in the shadows. She's like, Mom, what are you doing here? And she's like, yeah, that's what she says. I wrote it down. It says, Mom, what are you doing here? So that was correct. That's exactly what happened. She was lurking in the shadows like a vampire.
So that leads to the court injunction with the kids because she's dropping off the kids at all the weird
Completely
times.
dismiss my vampire theory, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, God damn it.
It's ridiculous.
All right, whatever. Okay, so they go to court. What happens?
Well, Dan gets all the kids, and she gets the legal notice or whatever beforehand, and she flips out.
Oh, wait, she got served papers down.
Yeah.
And then she trashes his house lazily. She lazily trashed his house. She didn't go in there like a mad woman, like, she went in there and was like, spray paint the wall.
Oh, yeah, I know what you made reference to.
I guess
She just kind of throws some pillows around a bit.
Just throw that right there. And so it was so uninspired. It's like it didn't look like she was having a mental breakdown.
It looked almost like someone who's really drunk that want to try to break stuff in their house.
But was told by the director, listen, don't do too much damage because a lot of this stuff, we don't have money to replace. We just need to kind of throw these props around on the ground without breaking them if you can. That would be, you know, ideal. That would be ideal, Meredith Baxter Birney, if you break the least amount of stuff. Okay, because this is like probably take 5 by now, right? I imagine they did multiple takes, and then this is the take.
I don't think woman rage breaking things like furniture and stuff in movies doesn't really fly too well anyway. Generally, I don't think I've ever seen anyone that's gone down that was good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, she's nailing it. Like, no.
It
doesn't work.
It was pretty bad, and we also forgot to mention that in that last scene where she was lurking in the shadows like a vampire, that she found a custard. We were talking custard. Don't even worry. So a custard pie or something like that. And she's like, "Hey, what's this? Oh, you kids eating this junk food, are you?" And the kid, little boy, was like, "Oh, that's a cake that Linda brought over for us to eat. It's so tasty," or something to that effect, right? So Meredith Baxter Birney gets all bent out of shape and goes up to her husband's room. Now, mind you, she had broken into his house. She's not even supposed to be there. He's at work. She goes up to his room, and she takes the frickin' cake, and she smears it all over his frickin' expensive Armani suits, right? And then he comes home from a hard day of work, making money, trying to, you know, like, make sure I get enough alimony money for my lovely wife who I'm divorcing, but make sure she's taken care of, and she's got enough money for her third house and all that bullshit. He comes up, and there's cake all over his suits. by golly. But so real Betty Broderick, you smearing cake on somebody's suit, it's just lame.
That's what I want to talk about. Like she gets that phone call at dinner.
Who's that?
Betty Broderick gets this phone call.
Ferris Bueller's mom, the vampire.
Yeah.
Okay, vampire.
So it's like
vampires,
her.
Yes.
So she's at dinner. It's her new boyfriend, and like another couple.
Betty Broderick's new boyfriend.
Yes.
The mystery man who's
no one knows who he is.
That has never been introduced in the movie. He seems like he's a nice enough guy.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, how you doing? And like that's like the only thing he says.
Oh, he did say that one time when he was like, every time like
he does say that. Yeah.
Every time like this.
But it seemed like she had a new stable relationship.
She gets the phone call and she's like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta go right now.
Yes.
I can't. Hey, listen. Whatever the guy's name, Steve or whatever.
Yes.
He's like,
yeah.
You and the other crazy lady who was getting divorced earlier. It's like, you guys can handle all this.
Yes.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
And that's when she leaves and drives his car right into the house.
Daddy? Dad, it's Mom.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is the big
I'm pretty
scene.
sure.
Big scene. Well, hold on. Let's put a thumbtack in that because I just want to.
There's a good part to it.
A little chronologically here. Just want to see if we're up to. See, how about when she gets served the papers for the divorce? We're backing up a little bit.
Yeah.
She gets served the papers for the divorce, okay? Then she lazily trashes his house, okay? And then she goes, the next scene, she's talking to her lawyer, and her lawyer, who's a divorce lawyer, divorce attorney, says, Mrs. Broderick, in the future, I would highly recommend that you cease those types of activities against your husband.
Yeah.
The trespassing, the vandalism,
destruction of property,
the destruction of property, and
tone
Meredith,
it down.
Betty Broderick is like, what are you talking? What's wrong with you?
You're not doing your job good enough. That's what the fuck's wrong with you, lawyer
Exactly.
lady. That's pretty much the attitude she took with it.
So she pretty much doesn't want to get a favorable settlement, right? In the meantime, she is constantly like talking about how she wants to have the most money, the biggest houses, the nicest yard.
Yes.
But in order to get that, you need money that you're going to need to get from this divorce. But you are making every attempt possible. The real Betty Broderick did this from real life.
Yes.
Made every attempt possible to sabotage her chances
her
for
own
having
settlements
a favorable
payments and her
settlement,
own
right?
Child,
And then they did that's why I put a little note here. They did a very poor job trying to recreate the media frenzy that supposedly surrounded this case. And there was a media frenzy at the time. Yes. We're a little older here, so we do remember the headlines. This was a big story in the like current affair, and
it was very short-lived, but it was out there for a little bit until they got more into the details of the investigation of how exactly what went on.
They did a poor job recreating the media frenzy. The media frenzy in this movie of the week was she was sitting down with I think a total of 2 different. It was a back-to-back shot. It's like she's getting interviewed by one lady, and the lady's writing down the notes about her account of what's going on with the divorce and stuff like that. And then she's sitting on her porch talking to, I guess, like a news reporter, like a TV news reporter or something like that, talking about her side of the story with the divorce. And it didn't really seem like a media frenzy. You know what I mean? But that was the media frenzy.
Sounds good.
So they have another Christmas, but now she's no longer married. She's separated. So she's having her sad Christmas with her pathetic Christmas tree back at her house alone, and then she's
getting depressed decorating.
She's
the tree
getting
by
depressed.
herself.
Yeah, decorating.
None of the kids are there.
So she gets in.
She's trying to make it look really good, and she's not seeing the point in it, and it still doesn't quite look good. And she's trying to
correct.
Trying to string together the lights on the tree, and she's just like, I've had about enough.
Yes. So
she decides to leave.
She decides to leave. She goes to her husband's house, and she sits out in the front of her husband's house in her beat-up pickup truck. SUV.
Yeah.
Or beat up SUV that
it's
says
an old Chevy Suburban.
Chevy Suburban that says
it has a license plate that says "Load him up."
Does say
as if loading bullets into a gun was the impression that I thought, and I thought that was really hilarious.
And it could be that. It definitely could be that.
Yeah. Maybe a reference to loading kids into the vehicle.
That's what I was thinking when I saw that.
Because it opens with the soccer.
Yes, I was thinking it was probably the loading the kids in the van thing, the soccer mom. But So she's in front of the house, right? And then she sees Dan, Linda, and a couple of the kids. They're all skipping out, happy-go-lucky, laughing, and are going out to their car. And they go drive away. They go somewhere. So then
The teenage daughter is left inside, unbeknownst to Betty Broderick.
So Betty Broderick, she's like in a trance, and she like walks into the house, goes to the Christmas tree, and
the fucking house looks awesome.
The house looks great.
It looks awesome.
It
You're like,
does. It's like
damn, that is a good Christmas look.
It's exactly like the Home Alone house, right?
Very much so. Yeah.
It's just like it's this big
red ribbons, a lot of white.
Yeah.
Looked very good.
So she's sitting there in front of the Christmas tree, and like she's stoned or something. She's drunk, whatever it is. Her teenage daughter comes up like, "Mom, what the hell are you doing here?" And she's like, "Are there any Christmas presents for me?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, but it's not technically Christmas yet, so let's wait." And she's like, "No."
She starts randomly ripping apart Christmas presents.
Yeah, she's like, "I want a present. I want a present." And he's like, "Mom, whoa, settle down. That's not even your present. I don't care. Dan's not taking Christmas away from me." So then she starts, well, there you go. So she started opening up this one present, and it was actually the present that the daughter had got her. Wanted to be a surprise. Yes. And then Meredith Baxter Birney just backhanded her. How's that go? Backhanded her across the face. And then the best part is that the daughter, we're talking about the movie, just so you know, we're not laughing at the real life event. We're laughing at the movie.
Reenactments
the reenactment
of how bizarre the behavior is.
Correct, yeah, right?
Yes. So now it's pieced together.
So the way that Meredith Baxter Birney played this part was hilarious because the girl is playing the daughter, the actress playing the daughter. She did a good job. She looked like she was visibly like shaken and horrified that her mother just backhanded her on Christmas Day. The actress did a great job. He's like, "Mom," like that, Meredith Baxter Birney just goes like this. Like, there, you're the daughter right there, okay? I'm Meredith Baxter Birney. I just got done backhanding you. I'm looking at the tree right here. Backhand. Mom, what the hell? Oh. Like that. And you're like, nah, that's not how it went down. Oh, I'm going to play the clip for you right now.
Put that down!
Oh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I would never, ever replace Meredith Baxter Birney in this movie. I would not put anybody better in. Because how crazy and how weird she is, it just makes it great. It makes it hilarious. That's what I think of the movie. That's why a lot of it, I'm like, this is ridiculous. That's why. Because she's so crazy.
You're saying that nobody could play this part better than Meredith Baxter Birney?
For the content, yeah, probably.
So
yeah.
You're saying there's no...
Maybe Robert De Niro.
There's no other woman that could play this part better?
I wouldn't replace her, dude. I wouldn't.
Are you saying that there's no woman? Are you saying that there's not one woman alive?
If they remade this movie...
Yes.
And a high-end budget, Hollywood type
They did, by the way. It's on Netflix.
It came
out a few years ago.
I saw that there's a remake, and I was checking it out, and I was like, I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
I would still prefer to watch this.
But just to be clear.
A Woman Scorned.
Just to be clear, you're saying
I would still watch this over something else.
So you're just,
generally.
To be clear, you're saying there's...
They may do something great sometime in the future, but I doubt it.
But you're saying, just to be clear, you're saying there is no woman alive that could portray Betty Broderick in another version of this story better than Meredith Baxter Birney. Is what you're saying.
For me, yeah.
These are your words.
For me, yes.
Okay. I think that's now the part where we're up to the part with the car now, because they come back, I think, from the Christmas celebration, right? Is that what happens? Is that how that goes down?
Yeah, I think so. And then he tells her, well, that's it. And the thing, you did this, and now you're not going to get any alimony. And then she snaps.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Then
he starts fining her for leaving all these harassing calls like,
Are you with the horn now, Dan? Are you making it with the dog meat on the stairs now, Dan? No, huh?
You making it with the dog meat on the stairs? All right, so this is what she's calling up and leaving him messages like this on his answer machine. All right, we got to wrap this up, but okay, so let's see, just real quick, just want to zing through the rest. Dan says to his new wife that unfortunately we got no proof that it's Betty doing all the stuff like breaking in and stuff like that. And I found it was odd for him to say we have no proof because he's a millionaire lawyer. He has all kinds of money. He should have all sorts of surveillance cameras that would catch Betty Broderick breaking in, stealing stuff, vandalism, whatever. But in the movie, at least, he claims, the actor portraying him says that there's no way to prove it. I did break the Tubi app when I was watching this again, trying to just refresh my memory. And I was fast forwarding and rewinding, trying to like get back to different parts. And the actual Tubi app broke and reset the entire movie. That pissed me off. And let's see, I think that's pretty much it. Now, as a movie that claims to be a depiction,
based on true story.
Based upon true story, a depiction of true events and murder, right? Would you recommend people who are into true crime movies or true crime TV shows, would you recommend this movie? A Woman Scorned.
Not if you want a real factual representation.
What if you wanted just like something to laugh at?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
But wouldn't you feel bad afterwards when you're like, but this is all true?
Yeah, but I don't know those people.
And I don't think I would recommend it. I would not recommend this movie. I would recommend instead reading the I would just read the Wikipedia page entry about the Betty Broderick murders. Oh, we didn't talk about that. So the whole point of why this is even a movie is she murdered Dan and Linda at the end. They're sleeping in bed. She goes upstairs with a handgun and she puts 2 rounds in them and kills them. And this happened, yes, this happened in real life.
So she killed a lady, the oversexed, syphilitic, poor white trash lady.
Who was also an airhead, allegedly.
Airhead, yes.
Yes, okay?
All right.
In the movie, okay?
Yeah.
It's all in the movie. Now, in real life, don't know how much of any, we don't know how true any of these events are in real life. So we're only judging
the murder.
The movie. The only thing we know is that the murder did happen.
She was convicted of the murder.
She was convicted of the murder, and we know that she did drive a car through the porch, right?
Yes.
But that, aside from that, that's it. There's a Netflix remake that came out a couple years ago. Neither one of us saw. There's also the made-for-TV sequel called The Final Fury or some nonsense that we didn't see. It's more of the court proceedings when she's in jail.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm done with Meredith Baxter Birney. Just between you and me, I'm done. I'm done. Meredith Baxter Birney, I love you in Family Ties, but enough. You got anything else?
No.
Let's go use that axe on something.